So, we're going to start something different today. We're going to talk about consciousness. I'm just trying to make sure everything's set up. Just give me one more second on this. Okay. All right. All one consciousness. I want to start with this is going to be based on all my research, my experiences in this world, and then all the other ones as well. All right. I want to start off with a couple of simple ideas and thoughts. The word New Age, I guess it's been around for about 30 years, more so than not. I would say it's an offshoot or becoming an offshoot of Buddhism, in that the idea of connecting to oneness. Some people use the word source. I go, what? The stuff you put on noodles or something? Being one with it. More people are pulling away from religion. All right. The reason why, because religion doesn't give anybody anything except an idea, a thought, a programmed idea of what's going to happen. But that's not really what they get. They get nothing. They pay their money monthly, weekly. They go to church maybe once a week. And then if you're a Catholic, you got the Pope coming out saying all these ignorant things, doing horrible things, trying to link Catholic religion with Muslim religion, saying Ten Commandments don't exist. He's trying to change them. Plus, he said, believe it or not, he said hell doesn't exist. He said Adam and Eve was a fake story. So if you want a person that's teaching you a religion which is based on that, is telling you they're not true, I think you should start a new religion. Well, that's what I told them 10,000 times already. All right. But the religion's no different than anything else. It's a program. It's an idea created by man, and whether you're willing to follow it, accept it, is your choice. Will you, or are you going to do that? Who knows? But on your dying bed, if all these people came to you that you were following all this lifetime, how much could they really help you? Could they tell you anything that's going to be beneficial to you as you die? Is it really important to know and remember all these things these people tell you? I don't think they could ever tell you where you're really going to go, what you're really going to do, who you're going to really be with. The program idea, which I'll get into later about near-death experiences, is basically, it's a lie. I'm not saying you don't have them, but most people don't get past the programmed idea of what they're supposed to experience. I'm not saying they don't have the experience. I'm saying they don't remember the actual experience, so the mind creates it. We'll talk about that. We got many things to get in today. I just hope you can follow along. I'm going to try to link everything in a circle, so words are going to go back and forth. So please don't say, well, he's there, he's there. My partner will say that to me. It's all part of the same thing. It's like talking about a baseball and you got it in your hand. What are you going to talk about? The sky, the moon, the planets? Well, if you're throwing it through the air, it's going through all of them. But you'll understand what I'm saying as we move along. Hopefully, I hope you can assume that the thoughts that I come out with, they're going to be different. They're not like most people. I don't think like normal people. I don't think like people anywhere on this planet, I don't think, in general. I say I'm crazy, go insane, while everybody else is saying going crazy. And if you don't see that, you should look a little bit harder. Because if you notice, people have serious problems going on in their mind, their life, and what they do and how they do it. Soul's only here for a short time. 125 years is the max, and usually you make it to 90. You're super lucky if you want to even live that long. I never thought I'd live to 66, and here I am. If God wanted us to stay here, we would. But then again, if you don't believe in God, that's a different story. You can believe in, we'll get into those words, the cosmic consciousness and all those kind of things, but I want to deal with reality and the real things first. And please, I'm not putting you down. I'm telling you my truth, what I know is real. My life is at stake on it. I totally believe what I'm telling you. I totally prove to myself that it's real. And I know people that help prove to me that what I experience is real as well, by their experiences that were the same. All right. Universal mind, universal consciousness is a concept that tries to address the underlying essence of all being, becoming involved in the universe, connected with it. Well, how do you connect with the universe? Becoming occurred in this reality. I'm going to try to think of the right word, sorry. To arising to the concept of mind, term that is more appropriate refers to organic human aspect of universal consciousness. Well, that's not my definition, so that's what kind of dictionaries will try to come out with and say. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Oh man, I'm doing good so far, sorry. Take a trip down memory lane. Memory lane. What is your first memory? How old were you? Do you remember where you were when you had it? Your first thought, was it about feelings and emotions, which it probably was? Most things people do is based on the nervous system in our body. The heart, the liver, the lungs, the veins, pumping through the blood, through everything in it. That's what gives us our feelings and emotions. When it goes back to the mind, stimulates a thought in the mind. Truly, that's nothing to do with consciousness. People accept pain as important. I mean, weightlifting, it's no pain, no gain, which is true. In life, no pain, no truth, no understanding, no awareness. True. So take that to the bank, and I feel you'll get something out of it. The first things, the things that are very important. Here's the things that affect us the most. Taste. With your mouth, your tongue, how it tastes food, stimulates you, makes you feel sick. It does a lot of different things by what you taste. When you drink alcohol, what it tastes like, what it does to you. But taste is important. Then the next thing with that is smell. The smell of something stimulates certain parts of your mind and your body. Or it stimulates your idea of your subconscious mind when it pertains to flowers and things like that. It could be in the physical world or the psychic realm. Then we got sight, being able to see what you think, hear, smell, and taste, and touch, and all that. All right. Sight is limited to the physical body when we stay in the physical body, but if we go into our and become part and aware of soul, we can see through the third eye. The third eye is right there, just in case you don't know where it is. All right. And it's a place where you usually leave the body. You could leave through the top, crown, your stomach. There's multiple places you can leave your body, but the best place to leave is through here, not here. But when you're viewing what you're doing before you get out of your body, you're going to be using this. So they all work together. Like I said, all these words actually work together in some way, some form. Touch. Now, if you weren't allowed to touch things, it'd be a pretty lame world, wouldn't it? And a relationship, if you couldn't touch your partner, if she couldn't touch you. Hearing her say the words that people love to hear, I love you. Hearing the sounds of birds and fish jumping in the water, dolphins screaming, whales, all those kind of things, they all affect you in some way through the mind. I mean, a dolphin calling in the water doesn't stimulate your nervous system. It'll go to the mind, because your mind is very connected to theirs. All right. Now, the things that I'll add to that change reality in every way is love. Most people have no clue what it really means. Loneliness and being lonely are separate. Happiness. Then the object in question is memory and awareness. All right. Consciousness is broke. I'm going to break it down in multiple levels so you can truly understand what it is. It's not just like you die and you go into consciousness and you're that. And if you want to be that, there's a lot of reasons why I will tell you that is not where you want to be. All right. We can go through this two ways: physically, this body, or psychically, to the inner part of our being. All right. Now, the outer part needs food, loves sex, loves companionship. I don't think much more. Sure, you can add sports and drugs and all the other words that stimulate a person thinking they're having a good time. And life is basically, to a person, having a good time. Whoever said that, whoever said it should be. Jesus didn't teach that. Nobody did. Man's ego kind of made it turn into that. In the gladiator days, when they watched people beating each other, chopping each other, and all those kind of things, was that fun and exciting and happy? It's like watching two people box each other. It's stimulating some part of the subconscious mind or the negative side of the brain itself. All right. Physically, we deal with the mind. And I'm not going to debate Buddhism right this second, but the mind is separate from soul. Consciousness is an idea. All right. I'm going to explain all those words for consciousness later, but consciousness, what is it really? Our mind is very much like a computer. Whatever programs you stick in it, download into it, it stores it. And it runs on those programs. It doesn't run on any other program. It only can run on the programs that are put in it. If you take a child and feed them a certain program, you can tell a child they're a dog, and they will be a dog all their life, unless something changes that. So to say consciousness is just, well, we accept this, we don't, and it's not about that. I'm going to try to explain why it's real and not real in many ways. It sounds like contradictory. It is in one way, but consciousness is a contradictory to soul. When you add ego, which is a part of most people's consciousness, all right, it's a part of the brain that runs off of the programs with its own. Somebody put a chip that says open chip. You can put whatever you want on a chip, and your own thoughts try to create a new chip that it's going to run on. And that's when a person says, I have my own truth. That truth being a programmed idea taken from multiple programs. Now, I'm going to break everybody's bubble right now. Eliminate all those things. You really only have two things: nothingness or soul. And Buddhism will probably say nothingness is the consciousness. And I'll say the opposite. It's not. You let go of who you are, you're nothing. It's like saying, if you were a drop of water and you jumped into the ocean, does the ocean become part of you, or you become part of the ocean? In a water situation, you become part of the ocean. But if you as a person jumps in the water, you're still you inside the ocean. Which would you rather be? Well, the ocean. Well, does the ocean think, perceive, create? Creates tidal waves, storms, and things like that. But does it create beautiful things? All right. People debate both nothingness and soul. If you're not aware of soul, you only have nothingness. That nothingness means you have no awareness. But you will usually have a big ego. Ego fills that gap all the time. And I hate to say that, but it does. Depending on your belief in programming, you may not accept the idea that we are all one consciousness, which I hope you don't. Or maybe you'll realize the truth. We are all different. And we are. None of us are equal in any way. Everybody has their level of awareness, their truth. There is only one truth to get to, but there's many ways to look at it before you can get to looking at it what it really is. All right. This is different than what I usually talk about. I can talk about love. I can talk about death. I can talk about aliens. But consciousness is so abstract to everybody, and it's accepted by everybody. Now, if you believe the programmed idea, going back to Buddha himself, what he attained is what he attained and created a reality. Now, Jesus was a totally different story. Now, like somebody like the Dalai Lama, what's he doing? Going around the world preaching peace. The new baby Buddha, going around preaching peace. And peace is a great word, but it doesn't exist, and it won't. It has never since before 30,000 years ago. When Atlantis went down, the concept of that word disappeared. Aliens came here, destroyed everything, created us to think that we need to kill each other. And that's not going to change in a long period of time. If God itself stepped on this planet and said, listen to me, some people would what? Jump out a window and say, no, I'm not listening to you. You're just a controlling, warring being or whatever. But all through history, before 2000, well, let's say maybe till 2,500 years ago, that's when Buddhism was created. All right, 500 years later, it was the beginning of time, to day one, when Jesus came out. All right, now let's go back past that, any time past that. Egyptians, Mayans, who did they follow? What did they worship? What did they pray to? All right, now people will say this, that, and the other thing. Well, now they're trying to prove aliens. Well, aliens were here, coming and going. If you accept them as God, they're your God. And then you got another word that was here at the same time called deities. See, people they'll accept one thing, they won't accept another. And they're trying to accept aliens, but they're still waiting for the solid proof of that as well. If a deity came here in the present and walked the planet, it would scare the whole world. Period. The same as it did when they were here originally. Hinduism was the first religion ever created on the planet, and they were working with the deities. Now, I'm going to try to explain, I want to get into this deep, but not now. In the inner worlds. Oh, man. Let me just tell I'm doing a show. Hello? I can't talk to you. I'm doing a show live. You can tune in if you want. All right. Bye. All right. Now, the deities, sorry about that. That was my cousin. There's deities, and there's multiple deities. There's multiple angels. There's multiple demons. I'm not talking about aliens, and I'm not talking about interdimensional beings yet either. But deities are kind of high-rate angels, except for 5 major deities, which are little gods. And when I say little God, God gives them the right to do what they do. And that means stay on a realm, and there's 5 realms to the soul plane when soul becomes God realized and becomes aware of soul itself. But at that point, there's 5 levels to get there. And very few souls get past the astral plane. But there's a God on every realm to the 5th realm. The deity on the 5th realm takes on a female form. Not that it's male or female. And please, he or she. No, God is no such thing. That's why I guess people are trying to become multi-sex or unisexual, whatever word you want to use, any sex you want. But these gods, called little gods, I call them deities, but they're little gods, are the god of each realm. And you have to go past that god to get to the next realm. Now, on the top of the astral plane, there's 3 of them. And one of them is called Lucifer, which is the highest fallen angel. All right. Then you got Kalbram, and then you got Jehovah. Names, they're just names man has created. And they're just sounds what they truly are. But when we go into the death zone, meaning your body's dying and you go into the astral plane, you don't get judged by God. God doesn't come down to hell. Why would it? Why would it want to? But it allows these deities to take the reign and do what they have to do. Every little god and deity are serving a purpose, and that purpose is not to let some entity or negative soul go beyond the level that it should be at. It's not going to let kindergarten people go into a college course. All right? But you can't compare physical learning with spiritual learning. There's no concept that are equal. They're so far different. No college graduate with any degree has any more awareness about spirit and God than people that are aware. Period. And there's only a few people that are totally aware on this planet. So we can talk about aliens because they're unaware. They're not spiritual. They're here to take over. And they're going to be doing things soon enough. And you don't have to believe me on that yet as well. But being with this level of consciousness, when you die, you go to the ESA plane, and you do get judged. Oh, I don't get judged. I know who and what I am. Do you really? Do you know anything? Do you know what you turn into when you die? Do you know what you're going to do? Do you know where you're going to be? No, you don't. It's all hearsay. And then I'm going to talk about later about death experiences. I don't know how long I'm going to do this show, but I'll try to get as much as I can in it today. Please, I'm going to be doing a workshop, and I'm going to go into every detail of spirit, death, lion's an important word, karma, deities, angels, false prophets, false psychics, spiritual beings, and the word demons for a word, Lucifer himself, and things like that. All of it together, because you're not going to get nowhere until you put it all in a proper perspective and understand it. You don't graduate college if you don't know what you were taught the whole 4 years, or if you went 6 years, 8 years, whatever you do. If you don't learn it, you're not going to graduate. The same as what you learn when you're here, and what you think you're learning is not important to spiritual growth. Not one alien has come here to give us anything that can help us. Not one so-called spiritual person walking this planet other than Jesus gave us anything important. Meditation, Buddhism, and all those things are in the bliss state. We'll get into that. But it has nothing to do with God. Meditation, oneness, has nothing to do with creation. And no, you're not going to create where we're going. It's not up to you. Everybody thinks, well, we create toys, weapons, and yeah, we create destructive things. We don't create anything positive. Medicines are all dangerous to the body. Drinking, drugs, all dangerous to the body. Sports, not beneficial to the human thinking. It doesn't help us grow spiritually. So when you say, well, spiritual, nobody has a clue what it even means. To talk about it is even worse. All right. Do people know the outcome of any experience at any level? When they talk about you're going to go to a higher level, what is a higher level? Taking a ladder up, taking an escalator, elevator up to a higher level, and then you're a higher level being? I mean, the story of Babel was based on that idea. It's in the Bible, but I'm not saying it's real. Just saying it's in the Bible, and it's a story about trying to get higher physically to get spiritual. Going through space, thinking they're going to get somewhere important. The whole multi-universe, multi-galaxies altogether is just one level. There's no ending to it. And if a person plays there, they probably will never leave. Like these aliens, these foolish aliens are doing. Traveling through multiple universes. To find what? What do you think they're looking for? Truth? They wouldn't take it if you gave it to them. But then again, I truly think part of the reason some aliens are here is to find the truth. That they've been brainwashing people to believe that of their truth, including the people from Venus. The level of awareness is love. Oh, well, that helped the world at any level, did it? We're in the most violent spot we have ever been in. To think love's the answer, it will never be the answer. Not in this reality, not on this planet, in this lifetime, or even the next. All right, we'll go into love. We'll go into these ones little by little. It's hard to put a lot into 1 hour, whatever I do, and get as much as I want out there, and without going off multiple levels of understanding and trying to link them all together for you. Let's look at awareness. Are you aware you're alive? Or are you aware you're sleeping? Are you aware you're dreaming? Which of them can you prove to yourself? Because in your dream, you think it's real. All right, what you're going through is real. Is it? Sure feels it. Sure seems it. I'm not thinking it up, but where's it coming from then? There's a lot of things nobody can understand yet because they're not ready to. And now they're trying to say why aliens are going to come here and help us do what? You know, the past 25 years have been trying to prove that there's UFOs in space. So what? They were over the White House in 1952, the year I was born. Did it help? Did it change anything? Oh, now we got to create an army. Oh, now they're still talking about it. 2019. Let's have a space army, which they already have. Are people that ignorant? Yes. People are so programmed, locked out, away from the truth. I don't know if they'll ever get closer to it. Getting back to, are you dreaming? Is this all an illusion? That's one thought. Kind of a Buddhist idea that this is all the illusion. Well, you know, it's a pretty sick illusion. If you want to be one in touch with that consciousness that created the sick illusion, go right ahead. What would that mean? I leave my body. I give up who I am, and I'm part of the conscious that creates rape, murder, killing, and all the other words. Is that what you want? Will you settle for that? Will you accept that as your reality? If you do, it's sad, very sad. And aliens, priests, ministers, rabbis, all those words aren't going to help you find the truth. They will not. Until you're ready to face your demons, which are inside you, and past them, will you ever get closer to the truth? We all have them. We all got to go through it. I mean, the dark night of soul, facing the dragon, whatever you want to call it. But you got to do it. Because if you don't, you're going to be stuck in the programmed ideas that are in the man's ego, man's mind, woman's mind as well, and not be able to change it. It's not going to get different if you just keep doing the same thing. It's not going to change. All right, to think we are all one, try to rationalize that. There's only 7.4 billion people on this planet, and then say there's 100,000 universes with worlds out there. Put all their thinking together. What do you got? This perverted, twisted thinking consciousness that we live in and dwell in? Oh, but if I leave it and go into the bliss state. See, you know, here's the description, and people might not understand it, but try to follow this. The bliss state is a real state. Now, try to draw this picture in your mind or on a piece of paper, however you can perceive it. Draw a circle on top and put God in the center of that. Draw 3 lines coming down from the top of that circle on the top of the paper down to the bottom of the paper. Spread them apart, the 3 lines, as they come down to the bottom. All right, now draw little lines going across from one side to the other through those lines. All right, in each one of those lines, we have the space is a realm of reality. And as you keep getting closer to the bottom, you come into the astral plane, which is the one right after planet Earth. And then you're on the bottom one, inside the bottom, from the bottom line to the bottom of the paper. All right. Now, within that, okay, I hope you're following this. You're in that little space on the bottom. And you see those 3 lines coming down that come all the way out of God? When you touch that, and you can go into that vibration, you can go into bliss. But see, I said draw 3 lines because there's a reason for 3. The one on the left is, I'm bad with, I have dyslexia, I say words backwards, but ascending. The one on the right is ascending. The one on the left is coming down. The one on the right is going up, back into God. The one in the center is called sustaining. So that's the one that gives the energy to each one of those realms, the energy to be what it is. It's all coming from God, but it is not God. Do you understand that? God's not in any of those places. Just the vibration and the light from God comes down into these realms. Talking to God is ridiculous in this level of awareness and consciousness and being. People that say that are delusional, and they want you to believe their lies, and all they can say is love. Everybody thinks love is the answer. And is it helping anything on this planet right now? Relationships don't even stay together anymore. Children are abused. How can you say you love your children? Nothing about it is real. The sexual perversions, the sexual genitalia perversions, all those things, they're perversions to what we are, because we don't understand who and what we are. The dream world is changing. So is the physical world, but not for the better. If you accept that idea, you just become part of the problem. Now, if you're riding those waves, those lines, the ones that's ascending, if you stay focused on that, you'll start bringing yourself into the higher realms. If you focus on the ascending one, you'll keep thinking that this place is the best and real and beautiful and all those other words that don't fit what it is, because it's hell. Planet Earth is hell. Just in case you don't know, Hell, a word. It was given to that because of what it was. It was a place to get out of, not a place to get into. Whether you wanted to or not, I mean, but it's a place to get out of. Soul comes here to start off, to grow, but it has to get out of here. It's given, just like when Jesus met Lucifer, and how Lucifer was telling him this and that and saying this and that. It's all a matter of keeping a person programmed to stay where they are. Lucifer's good at that. Mankind accepts Lucifer over God, Jesus, Moses, Buddha, you name it. Oh, their teachings, their lies, their programs. I'm free. Well, freedom means total responsibility to God. That's what it means, whether you want to know that or not. If you can't accept that, you'll never experience freedom. Never. In this lifetime or 100 lifetimes from now, until that changes within your consciousness of soul itself, not the universal consciousness and world consciousness and all those other words. If you're thinking of letting go of the mind, all right, if you let go of thinking, what's mind going to do? Mind can't do anything without thinking, because it's a program. It's like, what's your computer going to do if you don't turn it on? All right, now, if you believe you're one with all things in that concept of ideas, what was the original thought? And what's that mean? Think about it. We'll get back into that. The original mind's thought would be what? Create more life? Have more fun? I mean, when you think of the way we abused that idea even and created our reality, one consciousness, what do you think this one consciousness sits there and does? Floats there and does. Vibrates and does. However you look at it or perceive it, inside or outside of yourself. What does it do? Well, I got trillions of thoughts coming in and I'm squeezing it into, let's rape a child today. Let's steal from a store today. Let's burn a house down. What do you think it's doing? And if that's what's happening, it has to be part of that consciousness because it's happening. Unless you go back to the other excuse, this is just an illusion. Well, you're sitting in this world with this consciousness, dimension, realm, however you perceive it, and you're all squished in there thinking and feeling what? What we all feel together? That means you all agree on everything that's happening. I don't agree on one thing that's happening on planet Earth. And you shouldn't be either. Well, it's hard to get into a word that people have already programmed their mind to think it means something totally different. So again, I'm going back and forth with these words, but try to stay with me. I know it's not easy because those words have been taking up everybody's thinking. Like ascension means different than what ascending means. Now, consciousness is there and you move into it. So you would ascend into it. All right. Ascension is a lot different because you would move into something and then move out of it. Because you'd have to come back with the awareness, which Jesus did, one of the few beings that ever went through ascension. People say, oh, I went through ascension. What'd you ascend to? The astral plane and came back? When you have a death experience and you're aware of it, you're in the astral plane. That's simple. It's not complicated. But if you want to listen to those fairy tale people out there, dreamers, delusional idiots that tell you lies constantly, trying to brainwash you, program you into whose belief, whose ideas. And it's not even their own. Talking to God, well, guess what? That's not an original idea. Many people say they talk to God. You can talk to God right now. Well, what did he tell you? What did it tell you? What did you get back? Go out and get a job? Do you think God cares about every little asshole on this planet? Sorry, we're nothing more. We're dreaming if we think we're great beings or we can change the world. You can make people think things you want. And they're lower than you are because they're accepting your sick, programmed, twisted ideas. And then even worse, when you take their money, they're willingly to give it away for nothing. I say people will spend all their money for a lie, but they'll spend nothing for the truth. Why is that? I mean, Gandhi and all these people that came out, they get millions of dollars weekly. The minister in the United States that gets $12 million a year sent to him, and he's just writing books. But he goes, oh, you got to have money. Lying to you. Just the opposite of what Jesus preached. Not preached, he talked about it. He gave the truth out, whether you wanted it or not. If you listened, it's your choice. Thinking money can help you in any way to attain a level of awareness. You can go to every teacher on this planet, the highest Buddhas, lamas, shaman, medicine people. You're going to get bull with the other word on the end of it because they have no clue. They all experienced as far as the astral plane, if that. You know, I'm a rebel, and I'm not going to be here a long time. So anybody that listens, I hope you get something out of it before I do leave. Because I don't know how long. I could die tomorrow, and I really don't care either or. I mean, I know where I'm going, and I can't wait to get away from this hellhole. Well, my partner's beautiful. My dog's beautiful. Certain people in my life are there. But I can't do anything for them either way. I don't have millions of dollars. I can't put them in a nice place and do all the things that most people want. Because this is the dream world. But I can help them get closer to God. And very few people want that. Or they already think they have it all down pat. All right. Are you aware that you're alive or dreaming? Can you tell the difference? How? Most people cannot. There's no way to. There's only a few ways people can understand out-of-body experiences. Is by having one. You can't understand life if you don't understand death. It's like plus and negative, positive and negative. You can't have one without the other. But the difference is everything's in balance. A positive action is a negative reaction. That's a false truth on this planet. The same as, okay, you can positive and negative. Which one are you? Well, most people are both. And you don't know how to tell the difference. But right and wrong, good and bad, we'll get into that as well. There's only a few ways you can understand that now. You cannot understand death until you have a death experience. Even an out-of-body experience will help you understand that a little better. Now, back to the one idea of we're all one consciousness. Would there be a need for anything? If we're all one consciousness, what do we need? Could that consciousness grow? Grow in what way? Better toys that man makes is growing consciousness? Growing medicines that kill and make horrible diseases and sicknesses to people? Is that growing? Polluting the ocean, the water, the air, the sky, the ground, everything. Is any of that better? So being part of this one consciousness, I say the consciousness is sick, diseased, and it will destroy itself sooner or later. If that's the perception that people want to believe is real. All right. If that's even real, it's really useless to think that we can grow and make things better. If we all think we're part of it, and we all have this twisted thinking, because most people think they're right, most people think they're spiritual, most people think they're religious, most people think this, that, and the other thing. I say, people, what is your truth? How many people can't answer it? Well, my truth is what? I have my own truth. Yeah, and what is it? Well, I can't say it. You know, when you can't talk about something, means you're afraid you'll lose it. You're afraid somebody else will take it away. And I say this a lot because most teachers are not that. If your teacher can't teach you to be better than they are, they're useless. You know why? Because they're still here. Jesus was the only one proved different. He did not stay here. He showed them and told them what the truth is, and then he left. But they were too blind to see it. They didn't understand what he was teaching. Buddha will go into bliss, feel good, and forget everything. Well, there's no sense to be alive, to be anything, if you're going to forget who you are. Why would you go through reincarnation? And we'll get into that, because karma is reality. It's accepted in Buddhism, and it contradicts their own idea of being in a bliss state. Oh, you can't create karma. Really? And you go around preaching peace. Really? Peace or what? You know what? Exactly. What greater sin would there be? Well, hold on. In the priesthood, in the monkhood, sexual abuse is going on at every level. Why is that? Because people don't understand the difference between spiritual and non-spiritual. There's certain limits that you can get away with being spiritual, while there are many things you cannot. Killing, rape, and abuse are not acceptable. Ever. Never was, never will be. It's allowed in hell, but it's not allowed in heaven. So do you still think you can go to heaven? Why? Well, keep thinking you can. All right. If this all this consciousness couldn't grow, what greater sin would it be than not to think that it can grow? That it's living in this sick, perverted illusion. Oh, well, you experience, your mind can create anything. Give it a drug or two here and there, you can experience any possible thing your mind can create by all the programmed ideas it has. Now, the difference when you leave your body, for real, not make-believe, not dreaming or fantasizing, and you go into a different dimension, different realm, reality changes. Nothing is the same. Nothing. So you can't compare what you're going to do here, now, with that. You can't. There's such a difference between consciousness and soul. And that's why I put God versus consciousness. Soul is looking for God. Consciousness is looking for itself. Where do you want to be? Where do you think it's going to help? And where do you think it's going to get you? The bliss state and stay in it? You getting back to the picture we drew a little while ago, the 3 lines, go into the middle line. When you go into meditation, see yourself going into that middle ray, the sustaining ray. You'll feel all the energy and vibration that's allowed to come into this realm. And you can stay in that forever, if that's what you want. Or you can take a smarter move and go into the ascending ray. Or ego will keep you in the descending ray, keeping you here. And that's why you reincarnate. It's simple. It's a lot simpler than anybody has ever made it because they don't understand it. Man has this great way of making things much more harder than it is. And the way I learned that I was a magician part of my life. Stage magic. I did white magic, never really got into black magic, but I was able to go through all the 31 psychic abilities. Not, I missed one of them. But what I learned in magic, stage magic, adults look at an illusion, make it into an incredible reality of realness, however you want to describe it. Meaning, if I cut a person in half, they'll perceive the person was cut in half, and they'll spend their time trying to figure out how I put it back together. Now, to show you the difference in consciousness, if you want to use the word, a child could look at the same thing and they'll say something totally the opposite of the lie. Oh, there's two people there. The first thing a child would think of, they think of reality simply. They don't complicate it more than it is. A simple trick, if you do it in front of a child, oh, it had to be this. They look at the reality of realness that they weren't programmed to have different ideas about yet. We're an adult. Well, that's impossible. Oh, it had to go from the inner. I was a good magician, not the best. I wish I was. I was trying to get close to a couple famous magicians and work at it, but I went into a religion that said you can't do magic, and I gave it up. So, I'm willing to go as far as I have to go further in whatever I believe to be true. Till death do I part. And I proved that many times. I came close to death 5 times. A couple little times, which I don't even count. But the 5 times I actually ended up dead, going to the hospital and all those kind of things. So, do I know what I'm talking about? I sure hope so. Do I know what other people are talking about? Yes, I do. Do I know what lies they're giving everybody? Yes, I do. What truth are you getting out there in the real world? What minister, or rabbi, preacher is going to tell you anything good about or anything bad about God? Oh, you committed sins, it's going to... No, it doesn't. Watch a TV show called Lucifer. He gives a better description of that than anybody on this planet that I ever heard. And the way he described hell, he goes, he's here, he asks a person, what's their truest desire? And he gives it to him. Or he finds out what it is. All right? By that, what is your desire? What is your truest desire? But he said, okay, hell, if you're going to put yourself in hell, it's reliving whatever the false desire you created over and over again. Whatever the bad deed is, it's going to just haunt you for infinity. It's like Groundhog Day going over and over and over and over and over the same experience. And you can't change it to get out of it. But in Groundhog Day, he learned from it. There's a difference when you learn from something or you don't. In the physical world, you can learn from the experiences. And not the physical ones, the ones, the psychic ones, the ones leaving your body and all those kind of things where you can bring that into reality within yourself and learn something from it. Man, I'm trying to, I just got this crazy email, but that's okay. It's just a crazy email. What else is new? All right. So let's get back to where I was. Sorry about that. Something about Men in Black. Won't believe what happened. Can't read it now. If you're looking at this view as a human, you will see the battle in everything. The battle of the sexes, the battle of sex, the battle of living, the battle of death. I mean, the battle of everything. There's a battle there. It doesn't have to be. It's depending on your acceptance of the lies that you were programmed with that brought you to that place. Now, the idea of good and bad, right and wrong. People in this frame of mind, in freedom, we can do whatever we want. Nothing's really right or wrong. Everything's what it's supposed to be. Then there's no reason to do anything. There's a difference if somebody knows what you're going to do versus that you're going to do whatever, no matter what, and stopping it before you do it. God could stop the whole planet from unfolding to what it is. But God in its own self allows us to keep going as far as it can until we totally annihilate the idea of moving forward. And then it's destroyed. Look at how many races were on just this planet. Oh, well, there's the giants and all the beings, and they all came and went. Why? We couldn't make it work here. They're not going to make it work anywhere. If we can't make it work here, what makes anybody think we can make it work anywhere else in the universe with any other race? Well, the sex might be better with some races for a while and all those kind of things, but sooner or later they're going to find out it's just another, what's on the other side of the fence? I want it. Sadly to say. The only thing good is what people can't see. Most people don't ever touch it in their lifetime. It's inside them. It's called soul, what they truly are, what it is, what it's going to do, what it can do. Has nothing to do with spaceships, aliens, creatures, sick people, rapists, murderers, robbers. It has nothing to do with any of that. That's why you're in hell. You're in the game, in the programmed idea, thinking from mind and not soul. Soul doesn't need this physical computer brain that stimulates the mind. It's beyond that, way beyond it. It doesn't need it. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have it. Now, if this is a dream, you can dream anything you want. If you can dream that way, many people can. Can you change your dream while you're in it? Can you create things in your dream? Are you that aware yet? You probably aren't. I used to do it all the time. I said, it's much more fun to let it happen and do whatever it wants to do right now because it can't hurt me. And I realized I could have so many incredible, exciting experiences in one night. I don't need to change them unless it's negatively really bad. And I got that feeling when I wake up. I'll go back in and change it because I don't want to keep that feeling. But that only happened a few times in my life. But I used to just go in and out of them. I woke up, I was still being kidnapped by aliens or whatever it is. I got to go back and change that. And I do. But when you're stuck in a dream, bad, and you wake up and you feel bad, you go through it all day, it's bad. But can you change things in your dream? If you can, open up your wings and fly away. Just travel through space, go to heaven, do all those things, right? Do you? Well, that's a good start because now you got to bring that into reality. But how soon do you think a person's going to be able to say, I want wings, and put a pair of wings on their back and fly away? Consciousness is a complex word, the way man created it and accepted and used it. But it's only an aspect of being in a programmed state, which we all are until we get past the astral plane. The mind and ego is what's going to keep you here. And how long I've been going? I've been going for a long time. I don't want to go too long. I know you must be getting bored if you're still here and you're still listening. Please, if you're interested, I'm not doing this for money. Sure, everybody needs a little money to help them do certain things. I got my computer. I spent all my money fixing my computer. What I need now is a camera. My video camera is horrible. I hope I didn't screw up the picture even. I'm not even looking at it. Sorry. Let me double check it real fast. Well, I tried playing with that. I tried hooking my camcorder up to my computer and I didn't have time. It wasn't working. So that's the best I can do right now. I'm not here to pose for animal crackers either. It doesn't matter to you what I look like or who I am. It's a matter of who you are, what you want to be, what you want to become. Not rich, famous, and all those words which everybody wants. Sure, I wanted to, but I'm not worried about it. I don't care. If it happened, it would happen. But even that doesn't matter. And I could go on my ego as well. And sometimes I think about it and I say, man, my ego is pretty programmed by people. In a couple of years, I had 5 psychics, 3 medicine people, 2 psychics, all tell me the same thing. that I'm here to change the world, that I'm the one person that could either create it or destroy it. Save it or destroy it, sorry. And I always wondered was how real that was. But there was 5 different people in a year's time. Each one of them came to me. This woman pulled me into her trailer during the powwow at night, and she talked to me for 2 hours. Another one just came up to me, and my friend said, "Can my friend read for you?" She said she has to tell you what she sees. I mean, it just happened. I could go on, but when I think about it, does the world deserve anything? They have what they deserve right now. They have a lot more than what they deserve, so it has to be taken away. How? Easily. Anything can take it away. Another country, an alien, nature, the earth. Any one of them could just say, poof, and it's all over. But when you have aliens in your dream, think about the race that you're working with. Are they the program ones you see on TV? Or are they different? How are they different? It'll help you, because when you see different things, you're going beyond the level that mind can perceive. All right? So when you add a being that comes to you and it has 2 heads or it has 10 arms and legs. I mean, if you didn't see pictures of deities and stuff in the old days, they all had multiple arms and legs and all that. Where did that all come from? Was it real or not? I work with 3 deities. Each one of them was totally different. But another time, another story. I know it's getting late. I had a lot more to get into. I don't know if I want to go too much further. You can move forward in life or you can move backwards. You very seldom stay in the same place. You move backwards, you keep going down, down, down. Move forward, you keep moving further and further and further away from the problems. Consciousness doesn't learn anything, because the human race in 20,000 years is exactly the same. Still killers, still murderers, still rapists, still liars, still cheaters, still abusing women. Does that sound like anything positive? If any alien race was coming here, you really don't think they would be helping us? And they had anything positive in their consciousness or their thinking or their soul awareness? But they don't. And that's why they can't help us. On an individual basis, well, I was saved or I was this. Did any of them give you 2 gold bricks to go buy a new house? Why not? You could do a lot more than they do at any level. One last story, and I'm going to end it. Sergio 18 was a good friend of mine. It still is. We worked together for years. We filmed more pictures of creatures, entities, demons, and all that, spaceships, than anybody else in the United States, maybe the world. But we were there 4 hours every other night, 7 days a week, in between, on and off every day. And then he would spend 4 or 5 hours downloading all the pictures. We shot at least 1,000 pictures a night. And we got pictures of everything you could possibly imagine or not even imagine. We heard and saw things we couldn't even get pictures of, like invisible dragons and things like that. I can go, you would think I'm super crazy. But we spent the time to do it and proved it. And he's out there with that trying to promote and teach and show that out now. Sergio 18, Stranger Universe, check out his site. We don't agree on everything. I don't think anybody could ever agree with me, unless they were at the same level that I'm at. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I just know where I'm at what level. Who I deal with. I deal with God. I dealt with 3 different deities. 2 angels and 3 of my body, my spirit guides. So then again, who was the most important in all my life? I only had 2 important lifetimes out of all the ones I had. Atlantis was the first one. Was the most incredible time on planet Earth, when it was perfect. Planet Earth was perfect. All right. And then my lifetime with Jesus when I was a female. All right. I wrote my book on that, The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization, which is truly what he taught, not what people say, wrote, or thought he did. We can get into that some other time, but not here and not now. I'm doing this until I get a better way to do my show, but right now it's one way that I'm putting my stuff out there. If you're ready, willing, and able to learn, please tune in. Tell your friends to listen. Call in. I got to get a way to text. I'm having problems with that right now. The messages. So we'll see what happens. But here I am saying peace, love if you want it, compassion, whatever you need in your life. Hope you get it. I will give you a link to anybody that wants to send it to somebody else. If you can't pull up the link yourself, it's up on the top right now. So if you click on this, you should be able to get it, or just go across the top bar and scan it. Send it to people. Help me in a little way, because it's time. Our time is running out for spiritual awareness, not for death and destruction. That's only growing. I don't think we'll kind of end that. So please open up your eyes as wide as you can. Clean out your ears so you can hear a little. And think a little harder. And try to realize that what you're thinking with is the mind. And then try to go beyond that. So, till next time, and I'll be doing it soon. I only got halfway through what I wanted to talk about today, but I'm trying to put everything out there, because when I do the workshop, I'm going to have it in order, one from one to the other, and go through every aspect that you need in life and death, about deities, what they really are, not what storybooks say, not about angels, not about Superman, not about the Easter Bunny, what they were, why they were there. Mankind has always been desiring anything it doesn't have, bottom line. Always wants what it doesn't have or see or perceive, and it tries to create it. So please open up that thing inside you. I call it soul, whatever you want to call it. Consciousness, no, because that's out there. That's just one ball of energy that we all supposed to go into and become part of. There's no reason to. Why? Why would it send any of its pieces down here for what? Especially if it doesn't learn anything. There's nobody on planet Earth learning anything important right now. You could be. And when you learn what's important, you don't need to stay here. All right. I talked enough for today. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your night. Happy holidays. Till next time. Peace, everyone.